Hi, I'm Hamish McLachlan, and a big thanks for watching The Last Time I Cried, brought to you by AIA Vitality. In this episode, we speak with Campbell Brown, a hard man, Hawthorn Premiership player, State of Origin player, and Norgal's son. But in this episode, we saw a different side of Brownie. He spoke about losing his mother in 2019. Do you cry much, Brownie?
Not very often.
When was the last time you cried?
I remember it pretty vividly, actually, because it was in quite a public venue. It was Caulfield Guineas Day last year, so for the first week of October, and gone to the races with some friends. And towards the end of the day, a friend of mine came up to me and sort of put his arm around me and said, "Mate, I'm sorry to hear about your mum. I know exactly how you feel." And I said, "Oh, thanks very much, mate. You know, how do you know how I feel?" And he said, "Oh, my mum died on Christmas Day." And with that, I just burst into tears. I was just like thinking how sad Christmas is a day for family, and for her to die on Christmas Day is the worst day, if there ever is a bad day. And then immediately just triggered in me what I'd gone through with my mum, and that'd be the first Christmas that I have without her. And I burst into tears, and for whatever reason, it just set something off in me. And I think probably the reason was she'd battled, initially it was ovarian cancer. That spread right throughout her. The operation was diagnosed a couple of years earlier, and that operation went really well. But then a month later, they found it in her brain. So she had to go in again and have brain surgery. And then not long after that, they diagnosed cancer in her spinal fluid. So that couldn't be cured, which eventually made her paralysed. And then it was just riddled right throughout her, and eventually it was the liver cancer that was the one that got her in the end. You don't expect it. She was a picture of health until she was about 68 years of age. Never had been sick in her whole life. And just out of absolutely nowhere, went to the doctors one day and got diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and sort of it blows you away a little bit. One that, you know, someone who'd been so healthy and there were no signs of it at all could be sick. And then just the impact it has on the rest of the family, you know, going in for multiple surgeries, and the cancer was in the spinal fluid. You gradually saw her deteriorate to a place that you never want to see your loved ones struggling to get around, in constant pain, which just meant she became very dependent on Mel, which had never been the case. It was quite often the other way around.
Yeah.
And you could see her getting angry and frustrated because she couldn't do the things she wanted to do and the things she loved, and checking her into respite is it's pretty tough, because you know that the end's coming. Yeah.
Nice she met Boston.
I think that's one of the things that kept her alive. And she got to see my sister get married as well. I'm positive that Boston kept her alive for another 6 or 12 months. She loved him. It's good though. It's good to be able to talk about it.
Yeah. The one thing that I reckon
I've got much more accepting of is that we've all got these stories that have affected us, whether it be a death or a childhood incident or no one is without incident, you know. And the more you share them, the more you realise that you always need to look after each other, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't reckon I've never seen you cry. You talk about being embarrassed at Caulfield that time. It's like, why though? Like, we're all built to be emotional creatures. And when we cry, it's like, why am I crying? It's like, who cares? You are, so do.
Yeah, no, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. And everyone does it, you know. So, yeah, it's just I don't even care about being vulnerable or anything. As you get a bit older and you become a parent and stuff, it's just life. I'd always been telling myself, sort of right through the process, that at least you have the opportunity, you know that it's coming eventually, so you used to really enjoy birthdays and Mother's Days and things like that. You get an opportunity to say goodbye. I had that opportunity in respite, and I always said that was a lot easier than if someone just died all of a sudden. I hadn't probably given myself any time or effort to sit down and think about it. And just that one comment on that one afternoon at Caulfield just set something off in me, and that was the last time I cried.
How do you remember your mum, Kay?
Oh, she's probably a bit like the rest of the Brown family, half mad. She put Mel to shame at the footy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In terms of...
He would sit there quite calm and quiet, watching the game unfold and marking down notes of things that I needed to improve or whatever, whereas she was the fan, the barracker. She was a lover of life, loved a good time, and was extremely loyal.
Do you think about Mum every day?
Yeah, you do, just in random ways. I lived at home till I was 23. I think who's going to make my bed? Like, without fail, you know, like, wake up, breakfast, whatever I wanted, I'd have the choice. Scrambled eggs, omelette, savoury mince, cup of tea, coffee, toasted sandwich, mate, gourmet, bed made, clothes cooked, clothes cleaned. Sometimes I'd have to stop her from giving me a lunchbox to take to training. but mate, she would have. Yeah,
she was so loyal.
Yeah, classic.
Thank you.
No, mate. Thanks for having me.